Hello, hello, hello. Are we live in Facebook land? Hello, everyone. It's Liz Quain, the admin of this group, Worldschooling, Traveling, Digital Nomad, Trailblazing Families. I have a bunch of words in there. We have a special guest today, Nancy Schmidt, and I want to read her bio real quick to introduce you to her. So Nancy and her family have been road schooling. So I really want to do that, Nancy. I tried to camper van a little bit in Spain and Portugal with my kids. My kids did not like it. So kudos to you for doing the road schooling. Okay, so road schooling and homeschooling on and off for the last 12 years. Last year, they started their world schooling journey across Europe and Central America and are currently living in Costa Rica. Pura vida, yay. Nancy's a remote professor of communication who has been teaching classes and workshops for over 20 years. Her specialties include interpersonal, intercultural, and professional communication with an emphasis on conscious communication and personal transformation. I love that. It's so important. We all need to learn this. You know, we don't focus on like who we are as a person, how to transform, better ourselves in traditional school. So I'm really glad that you're doing this, Nancy. Okay, so Nancy's mission is to inspire others to stay open and curious about themselves, others, and the world around them. I will be posting a couple of her social media, her Instagram and her Facebook page. So Instagram is called Our Sidetracked Life. So welcome, Nancy.
Thank you so much, Liz. And hello, everyone. I'm so glad to have you here. So Liz is sharing some amazing information for those of you interested in world schooling and exploring that. So I'm going to do a little workshop today, and I want to just dive right into it. As Liz said, my family and I have been doing this for a while, off and on, but world schooling was really fairly new. So I've taken what I've learned and taught my students, and I've just applied it to the world schooling model, so to speak, or the world schooling vision that I had. So I wanted to share that with you. And I'm going to share my screen if I can here. Let's see. Looks like I can. And all you need today is go ahead and grab a piece of paper and pen if you want to follow along. And I believe this will be a recording that you can refer back to as well on Liz's channel. But I want you to feel inspired. I know Liz is working with you on doing a vision board, and that is an amazing place to start. A vision board can focus on anything. It can focus on all aspects of your life. It can focus on one area of your life. And in this particular case, maybe it's world schooling. So you have these wonderful, beautiful visuals and pictures of just, gosh, dreams, places you want to go, things you want to manifest. These dreams that you've had, right? This vision. But once you do that, once you have that vision of what you want to do and what you want to manifest, how do you actually make it happen? That's where 80% of us who make new resolutions fall short, right? And so I want to give you a little process here that I think is very helpful and has been for my students and for myself over the years. So why don't we just dive right in, and I'm going to make sure I have all that I need here. Sometimes sharing is funny. Okay, there we go. So you start with your vision. You have your vision board. And from here, let's say the vision is focused on world schooling and making this happen for you and your family, okay? That big vision is your driving why, okay? And it is a representation, and it reminds you every day. Maybe you have it up in your bathroom. It reminds you every day of this big goal that you want for yourself. But I want to take it one step further, because now that you have this vision, you can say, okay, I want to map it out. I want to create an actual action plan, goals, tasks, action. And we can do that by doing what's called a vision map. And you can see here, it's really simple. This one's super simple. You don't have to be an artist to do a vision map. All it is this visual representation of connections of things that you want to work on in your life. And it provides, as a map would, the way to do that, okay? You can make it colorful, you can do it more just plain, you can draw, There's different ways that people have done it, and these are some different ways. So you pick the format you like best. Remember, by now you have your paper and pencil. Some people do it, with a list. Are you a list maker? Put in the chat, yes, I'm a list maker. I'm definitely a list maker. Some might just prefer to have it a little more plain. That is okay. It's really more about what you put in it. But I love having color and visual and that kind of thing. And so this is really a fun thing you can do too. And you can add to this later as well. So how do we get started? You have your vision. On your piece of paper, I want you to put in the middle of your piece of paper, this or something similar, your world school vision map, okay? And by the way, you can do this with your life in general. So you might have goals for 2023, and then one of those sub goals, like you have your little statement in the middle, one of those categories is world schooling, right? So just imagine we're taking that as one of the things you have as a goal for the year. You're taking that and now we're going to focus in on it. So put that in the middle. And what you're going to do is you're going to have little offshoots coming off of this. So this is one of the categories of your world vision, your life vision, let's say. But how do you then prioritize? Because gosh, there's so many things, and Liz will be teaching you about a variety of things in her Facebook group and also in her coaching classes. And you will learn that as you go. But right now it might feel overwhelming. There might be a lot of things going on in your mind right now. So how do we prioritize? I like to use and adopt this wheel, and it's called, let me put myself down here. Sorry, Liz, the Wheel of Life, but I'm going to call it the World School Wheel. And I'm going to have fun with that because it is so helpful in allowing us to look at different categories, different areas we need to focus on so that we can prioritize those and then accomplish what we want to accomplish. So we're going to draw this out on another piece of paper. Maybe it's on the flip side. Just do this lightly, really quickly so that you can score it with me, okay? Go ahead and draw the circle, just bisect it. I think there's 8 sections, so 4 bisections real quick. And you don't have to label them yet. I'll label them. We'll go through them each. And then 0 is in the middle. 0 is going to be the middle point. And that means I am not satisfied at all with where I am with regard to this category, okay? 10, you'll see it goes all the way to 10, and you can put these little lines in and mark the midway point. Maybe it's around here somewhere, or here, as they put it. 10 means you're golden. You don't need to really worry about that area, okay? Once you have that, and you can go back and revisit this or pause it as needed, but we're going to first look at finances, and we're going to look at this wheel through the lens of traveling world schooling right now, but you can use it again as that bigger picture for life goals. Okay. So finances, let's score it. How satisfied are you with the finances that you have in place to do the traveling you want to do? Are you 0, like have no clue how you're going to finance it? Don't even have any savings. Don't even know where to start. 0. That's okay. That's where you're at. Or 10, hey, that part I'm golden with. I have totally figured it out. We're okay there. Don't need to worry about it. So that would be finances. So go ahead and score that section. Then we're going to move on to business career. And this, from the World School lens, would be about, hey, are you able to remote work? Have you checked that out? Have you confirmed it with your boss? Have you looked into some of the rules? And that's okay if you haven't. Maybe you're a 0 in that, and that needs to be looked at. So however you define this, in whatever way you need to, but I'm just giving you some ideas, right? So you might define it as, I need to have a different job. I already know I can't work remote, so I want to look at job opportunities that will allow me to work remote and travel. And so maybe you're at a 0 there. Maybe you've done some research. You feel pretty confident with what you need to look at and what you need to do, but you're about a 5. Or maybe you're like, good to go. You have a remote job like I do right now. I teach my college courses remote. So I would be at a 10 there. Physical environment, let's move on to the next one and score the next one. So remember, 0 is not satisfied at all, 10 is fully satisfied, okay? Physical environment. This I envision being where you're going to live, how you're going to rent places versus maybe a home share. Are you going to rent out your house that you currently have if you have one? Are you going to sell everything like we did? Crazy us, we sold everything and just went for it. Freed up our budget, right? And then we're doing Airbnbs month long because you get a hefty discount when you go to that month-long period. So if those are things you don't know much about yet, then it's okay, score it low. But go ahead and score that 0 to 10, wherever you feel you are right now. And again, looking through the lens of travel world school. All right, fun and recreation. Hey, we might totally know or be pretty confident about places we have always wanted to visit or just like things we like to do. But sometimes we have to check in though with each other. You know, we are different at every stage of our life. I know our children had different things they loved to do when they were younger, but now as teens and tweens, they have a different set of criteria. We always have to be flexible, right? And so, okay, how are you feeling about the fun and recreation part of it? Are you pretty satisfied with what you know about it and that you can come up with some good ideas? You don't need to spend a lot of research effort on that. Or do you think that this is one area you don't know much about? You have no idea where you want to go. You have no idea what your kids like now. So maybe you are down here a little farther. So go ahead and score that. The next category, personal growth. And this is where I feel our motivation for travel lays the most. Our motivation for travel is we wanted our kids to experience the world, different cultures, immerse themselves, gain a different worldview. I'm a communication professor and an intercultural one, but they don't take my courses. Darn. And so my husband and I have always really believed that providing them with multiple views of life in the world and people's ideals and who they are, these are all important things for them. And they get to experience it firsthand. So one of our big whys was this personal growth aspect. And again, you define that however you want to with regard to your own personal growth goals or ideals. Okay, so that's the category. Go ahead and mark 0 to 10. Maybe 0 means I haven't really spent a lot of time thinking about it at all. To 5, yeah, I've thought about it a little bit, you know, and I feel pretty comfortable with our why and why we would be doing this. Okay. Romance. So this one, that's why I should really craft this to be more world school oriented. I think I'll do that, Liz. That'll be kind of fun. Okay. So romance, let's just say this is your relationship piece of the pie. So how are you feeling about your relationship with your partner, if you have one, and then with your children? How strong is it? Are there areas that need some work? Or do you feel pretty confident you could leave and travel now and you're good to go? You guys, you got it nailed down. You're pretty good with your communication. You're pretty good with hanging out, getting to know, you know, making sure everyone's doing okay, checking in, that kind of thing. So again, however you need to define that for yourself or want to define that for yourself, go ahead and do that. That's just some ideas. So rank that 0 to 10, 0 being I'm not satisfied at all, or I haven't looked into it. And 10, yep, we're good to go. Okay, but you're probably somewhere on the scale. We all usually are. And then family and friends. I tend to look at this section of the pie as connection. How are you going to stay connected with those friends and family you already have, and then maybe connect anew with new friends across the world? My children at this age are not really wanting to connect a lot with other kids their age. They're just kind of into us traveling as a family, which is great. But I know a lot of other families who have younger children who really want to play with others and then have teens who really want to connect. So there's other ways to do that. And there are things called hubs and, you know, you'll learn all about them. But maybe you don't know a lot about it with regard to world schooling. Now, you might have some ideas like, okay, we can do family Zooms, which we do, which are totally fun. We can send pictures, we can post on Facebook, which is just kind of what we're doing, is we're posting and sharing pictures on Facebook. And how are you going to connect? How are you going to stay connected? So go ahead and score that 0 to 10. And then health, because mental and physical health while you're traveling is so important. I mean, it's important anytime. I think people sometimes when they go on vacation, have you ever done this? I've been guilty of this. When you go on vacation and you're like, we're going to pack everything we can into this 7 days. Every day we're going to do something different. You need a vacation from your vacation. No, you can't long-term travel or world school like that. It is exhausting. You will burn out and you will wonder why you're doing this. And other members of your family may want to go home, right? So, and that's okay too. I mean, let's get there when we get there. But if we can look at this and examine this through the lens of our well-being, physically and mentally, making sure we have practices in place that we can take with us that are easy, also simple, then that's going to benefit us tremendously. Okay. So where are you on the scale? Are you totally not satisfied with your health and well-being right now? And you need to work on that, all the way to 10, fully satisfied, don't need to really focus on that. Now we're back to finances. Excellent job. Okay. So you've scored all the areas. Now I want you to connect the dots. So start in one area. Let me find my mouse again. Sometimes the mouse just disappears. Bizarre. Oh, there it is. All right. So maybe finances is about here. Let's connect the dots. Go around, start connecting where you are. Maybe you're real low on one area and you go back out and you go around. Now look at your wheel. How round is it? Some of us will be pretty balanced, and that means, hey, my life, because you can use this for areas of your life, or my world school vision, I feel pretty balanced about all the things I need to look at or take care of or think about with regard to world schooling or life. Is it wonky? Does it have like a couple areas that kind of come in and go out and jut out? And most of us will have that. Okay. Most of us will have that. So that's okay. The key here is this really helps us prioritize. Now, I'm not saying you ignore the things that you're completely good on. You need to, touch base with those things every once in a while, like the fun and recreation, researching places to go. And even if you're pretty confident about all that, you're going to have fun. That's the fun. So keep that in there. You're not going to drop anything. These are things that we do all the time in our life that we're constantly managing. We're constantly examining. We're constantly looking at for growth, improvement, shifts, right? But I want you to focus in on the ones that you've scored lowest on. And I only want you to take 2 or 3 of those that are the lowest and maybe the most priority to you. So you might score a couple at the same level, but which one is priority? So take those low categories and we're going to put them into our map now. Oh, there's someone that had a question in chat. Let me just go ahead and look at that real quick. Oh, mine is wobbly. Oh, totally. Yeah. Share. Anyone else wobbly? Just put a yes in the chat. Mine's always wobbly. And let me tell you something funny too about this. It shifts all the time, and that is okay. That's life, right? Okay, love that. All right, so now we're taking those low scored categories and we're going to put them in, and I didn't really translate this, completely correctly, but we're going to put circles out here. And those circles are going to have those areas. So one might be finances, one might be relationship, one might be fun and recreation, let's say. Okay, one might be health, right? So I have on mine, let me get my mouse back. I have personal health and well-being at the top because I can wax and wane on this. I've always done this. So it's something that I'm always constantly working on, but right now it's really important because of our long-term travel and how stressors come up that are unusual, right? So things in a normal living situation may not crop up, like how do you rent a car that's not $2,000 a month or something? Right. No, there's ways. That's just something we came across that was interesting in Costa Rica. Anyway, so the personal health and well-being, I know for a fact that if I do the things I need to do and I put my practices in place that I need and I actually do them regularly, like 80% of the time, right? The 80% rule. I am calmer. I'm a better parent. I don't react as much. I'm just a nicer person. And so I need to make sure that that is a high priority number one for me. So go ahead and put your high priority categories in those spaces. And then we're going to create some goals that we're going to do a little brainstorming. So pick one that you want to focus on. And I'm just going to use my personal health and well-being as an example here. Pick one and let's go for it. Let's brainstorm some goals or things, whatever you want to call them, that would help you increase your satisfaction in that category. Okay. So would move you along that satisfaction scale. What are some things that would make you feel more satisfied with, say, in my example, personal health and well-being? Go ahead and make some lines off of that and put down some little goals. What are some things that can help you? I'll give you just a sec here. You can probably off the top of your head brainstorm a few, and I want you to be sure and go back and really examine these more later. But for the sake of the exercise, we'll move on to the next phase, which is looking at those goals that you've written down, the ones you brainstormed, and making sure they're smart. And what I mean by that is that they're specific, they're clear. Okay, clear goals are easier to achieve, and they help you know exactly what you need to do. Are they measurable? Can they be tracked? So instead of just saying, I'm going to meditate, that's very general, right? Let's get more specific. I'm going to meditate 5 minutes a day, at least 5 days a week. Okay. Can you take action on the goal? And is it realistic? So if it's not, if it's a high level goal, that's okay. Break it down a little bit into manageable, realistic chunks. And is it time bound? Do you have a date or a deadline attached? And if you don't, you can go back and attach some deadlines to that. So maybe take one of those little goals and go ahead and measure it against the SMART chart here and break it down so that it is all of these things, or at least it meets the criteria for most of these things. Specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time bound. So again, my meditation example, I'm going to use my insight timer. So I'm being very specific. I have an insight timer meditation app. Headspace is another good one, or Calm. Those are all great ones. There's many out there now. Check them out, see which one's good, choose one. I'm going to use that to do a meditation every morning if I can, but I'm going to schedule it into my routine. And it's going to be, for me, 10 minutes a day. I'm going to try to do that 5 days a week at least. Okay, I'm going to try to do it every morning. But I'm shooting for 80% because that's brilliant. I have the measurable goal that can be tracked. So I can look at, in my Insight Timer app, have I done it? How many minutes have I done it? It'll track all of that, which is really great. And then, yes, I can take action for sure. It's very actionable. I'm going to stick it in my calendar to make it really actionable. And that's totally realistic for me. And you have to choose what's realistic for you. If you're new to meditation, 1 minute a day is great. Okay. And then is it time bound? Yes, I'm starting this week. Okay. So hopefully you've done that with at least one of those goals. I'm going to go back. And remember, we're just focusing in on one category right now and one goal under that category. Okay. Let's move forward. Underneath that goal, we're now going to brainstorm, and the goal itself might be pretty well written out, but usually there's things you have to do to help you achieve each goal. Okay, so take the one that you're working on, and if this works for it, then use this as your example. If not, maybe go to a different one and work on it. It's just nice when you can work on it with the group. So now you can add steps needed to achieve that goal. So under my kids' education, we usually unschool, but with math, especially in high school, my son wants to go to college, and so it's important for him to stay on topic with the math curriculum. So I wanted to get a hybrid curriculum for him that he can do partially on his own, but also have a tutor available to get help as needed, because I'm smart, and I did all those PhD statistics courses about 15 years ago, but I don't remember geometry. Are you with me? I mean, some of you probably can feel that, right? Okay. So I need help. I'm going to be so honest here. Of course I need help. Okay. So list out those tasks, just brainstorm some tasks that you think would be helpful to do to help you reach that goal. You can prioritize them. What needs to come first? What needs to come second? But right now you can just brainstorm it for a second. And then when you're ready, prioritize them if you haven't already. And then I want you to do something so actionable. I want you to get out your electronic calendar, or if you have still the paper pencil calendar, get that out and put the first task in. Put it in right now. And look at this. You're already on your way to achieving your world schooling dreams. Hello. This is how it works. Unfortunately, it is a little work, right? But once you have this outline, the great thing is, I think people think sometimes that when you're overwhelmed, it's good just to kind of push it away. But actually, it really helps a lot of people to write it all out, to prioritize, and then you can focus in on one thing at a time. And that's what I want to encourage you to do. So while, yes, I want you to go back and repeat this process for all those categories that you outlined as priorities for you, I don't want you to focus in on all of them at one time. Focus in on the one that is the biggest priority, or that will have the biggest impact across everything, perhaps finances, right? What are those little things you can do every day, like not have my Starbucks drink every day? I mean, that's sort of trite, but it really adds up for some of us, right? So when we're done here and you have some time, either today or tomorrow, repeat the process for all of these areas. And you can work on them then based on your timeline, okay? Then, of course, you have the fun of sharing it with family members, because if you are traveling with family members, which I assume you will be, depending on their age, like if it's your partner, they should do this process as well, because you will have priorities that aren't necessarily the same, and maybe you missed something. So communicating, this is your first kind of introduction to really communicating about these issues specifically geared at traveling and world schooling. So it's surprising actually what comes up. When my husband and I did this, we were like, oh my gosh, I would not have even thought about that. But it's important, right? If they're teenagers and they like this kind of process, it would be really fun for them, because this is a great way to introduce them to the life wheel in general. And you can also share with younger kids by doing things like table topics. And we do this all the time. I'm sure you've heard of table topics, but you just ask one question like during dinner or breakfast, and have the kids talk about it. And so this is great for all ages. And you can, of course, curate the questions to be age appropriate. But sometimes we forget that our kids change and they have different things they like to do and don't like to do. So these are some questions you can ask, what do you love most about travel? This is what I love. And then you go around the table and you each answer. What are the things you like to do the most when we're traveling? What is the most challenging thing about traveling? Like what causes a lot of stress, right? And I like the question I ask my teens, what is most stressful to mommy and daddy to mom and dad when we're traveling, because that affects them too. And sometimes we don't even recognize that we're stressed, but they feel it. And it's good to get their observations. So these are great ways to start having conversations about it. And then you really have momentum towards moving towards your vision of world schooling. So that is the process, Liz. And what is next? Well, you can use now tools. Once you have these tasks written down, again, 80% of us don't follow through with our resolutions for the next year or our vision. And, there's lots of reasons for that. I'm going to cover some of this in a workshop I'm doing, and it's just a fun, free one that I'm offering for a small group of world school families, like-minded families. And I'm going to introduce and talk about tools to help you stay on track and actually do some of the things you set out to do. So, and then of course, next steps for you all, have fun with your research, have so much fun. That is the best thing. It keeps you going, keeps you focused on your why, and then get support from other people, of course, like Liz, and then Facebook groups and that kind of thing. And we're just posting fun pictures right now and some tips and stuff. So we would love it if you followed us at our Sidetrack Live. And I'm going to punch in the chat the event link. Is that okay, Liz, if I just do that real quick? And then
Go ahead. Well, it has to be on the Facebook though.
Oh,
not on the Zoom. But put it in the Zoom chat, and then I'll add it to the Facebook chat.
Okay, that would be great. So that's just for the Zoom chat. But yeah, that might not show up on the recording. So Liz will pop that in. And thank you everyone for joining today and for watching it if you're watching the recording. And if you have any questions, I'd love to answer any that I can at this point. But you have a wonderful resource there, Liz. Mm-hmm. And I know that you will achieve the dreams that you want to achieve in your world school journey. So I'm excited for you. Thanks, Liz.
Thank you so much, Nancy. I'm going to put this, I'm trying to find the right thing. Yeah, I'm putting what you just, wrong place. I'm going to put it in the Facebook. There we go. Okay, it should be all in there. And Nancy, you're a member now, so you can see any of the chat, any questions from people. There was Casey was putting in her numbers, and I think there's a couple people who were going to come back and watch it via replay because they caught it and they're like, oh, I have to do this later, But this was awesome. I really appreciate you sharing this. I did it with you, a week and a half ago, and it was really powerful. So I wanted you to come back to the group and share it with more people. So, so thank you.
You're so welcome.
Especially great for the beginning of the year.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much, Liz. Great to be here.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.